Good evening, Amiibo and Nintendo fans. Welcome to episode 9 of the Amiibo Newscast. Episode 9. It seems like we literally just started this show yesterday, and now we're 9 weeks in. Technically, we took a week off, so we're 10 weeks in.
Wow, that's really exciting. I only joined 2 episodes
Yeah,
ago.
this is episode 2 for you. You're a rookie still.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It's really crazy, but it's fun. I have fun every time.
Well, I'm your host, Amiibo Jason. Here pretty much always here to give you the most up-to-date Amiibo and Nintendo-related news. Again, you might know me from Amiibo News on Twitter or our website, myamiibonews.com. I'm joined with the fantastic, the amazing Lauren from Nintendo Inquirer,
yes.
And she's also going to be helping a lot on Amiibo News as well. So welcome, Lauren. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing really well today. Just cannot stop laughing today, but
Yeah.
I think it's just because I'm so psyched about this episode.
I think we're going to have to edit a lot of this episode out.
I think so. But
I
thank
may
you
have
for
been
editing.
drinking a little bit.
Oh, that's new. We've never seen that before.
So we have a really huge amount of content actually to cover today.
Yeah.
Some weeks it's like, yeah, why are you guys even bothering putting a podcast together? There's nothing to talk about. This week is completely different. We have about 6 amazing Amiibo-related topics to talk about this evening. So do you want to get started on that right away?
Yes, let's do it because I don't know how long it's going to take.
It's a long time. So I think the first thing we want to talk about, if you saw the name of the episode that we're shooting tonight, you'll kind of get a good feel of what we're going to be discussing. I want to talk about something that is pretty prominent on our Twitter feed, pretty prominent on the Our Amiibo subreddit, and pretty much any other forum where people can go and talk about Amiibos. It's why do American markets seem to get, for lack of a better word, screwed over on pre-orders?
It all boils down to the business tactics, I think, of Nintendo of America.
Yeah.
And I would really like to know the secret behind those moves. Like, there's these moves and counter moves, and unfortunately, the victims are the entire Nintendo and Amiibo community.
Yeah. And yeah, I saw the statistics. There was a investor conference in Tokyo, Japan. I think this was about a month ago.
Okay.
And they were showing that how many Amiibos got shipped per region. And the US got more than any other region. So we have a huge amount of stock coming in. But I guess the question is, why is it so difficult for people in the US to even pre-order something? I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So we just had recently, in the last week, Amazon UK put up Wave 5 for pre-order in the UK. Before the US got even Wave 4 to pre-order at this point.
That.
Which is weird to me. I feel like it's either that Nintendo is giving information to these other regions saying this is what your stock is going to be, or the other regions, like I guess the US in this case, the US and Canada specifically, for some reason there is some sort of disconnect between Nintendo and North America. And I'm concerned about it to a certain extent because it's driving massive imports.
Yes.
So when Amazon UK ships to the US, if you don't know that.
Yeah.
So when Amazon UK went up, we had a massive amount of people from the U.S. and Canada and other regions dive in, and I don't want to say steal their stock, but there was a massive amount of imports on Wave 5.
Okay.
And it's to the point where I'm wondering, why not just release all the regions at the same time for pre-order and try to prevent this kind of thing from happening? Because I feel bad for the people in the UK when they have a smaller allotment of these figures to go around, and you have all these people from the US and all these people from Canada rushing in to try to get them.
Yeah. I think a lot of it boils down to the different retailers in each region, because our market here is drastically different and it's drastically set up differently than everything over in Europe and Japan. And that alone, I mean, the deals that these separate retailers set up with Nintendo is going to change the whole system and how it's run. So I honestly believe, because of the number of exclusives that we have here with certain retailers, that is one of the major factors affecting the reason why it's so messed up over here right now. And I wish I could say that there's a clear reason why, but I really only think that at this point, Nintendo is aware of those reasons.
And this was something we brought up on a podcast about 5 weeks ago. It was one of our earlier podcasts, and we said, why haven't we seen Wave 4 go up for pre-order anywhere? And the topic at hand was retail exclusive, and they wanted to know if anything on Wave 4 was going to be exclusive. And lo and behold, it was. NES exclusive to GameStop, Jigglypuff exclusive to Toys R Us, or to Target, and Greninja exclusive to Toys R Us. So we kind of predicted at that point that might be one of the reasons why we're seeing like at least retailers holding back from putting these pre-orders up. So do you think? So it sounds like you think that has something to do with Wave 5 too.
Definitely, I think that all plays a role in there. This goes back far, I think, in Nintendo history.
Yeah.
Because we've always had problems with limited editions hitting Europe and Japan over the United States. And unfortunately, I think this is going to continue for now until something massive changes in the overall market. But I can't see that happening anytime soon.
So I'm thinking once Smash Bros. is done, once we see an end to the Smash Brothers line, I'm thinking we're going to start seeing more of an end to the retail exclusives. Because there's just way too many in the Smash Bros. Line where... I think at that point it makes it so people have an easier time like justifying retail exclusives because there's 50, not 52. I think how many? I think there's going to be 51 with Lucas.
Yeah, it's something crazy like that.
So 51 with Lucas. So if 5 of those, or 6, or even 10 end up being retail exclusives, that's fine. But I feel with the other games that are coming out, if like the Yoshi's Woolly World one, there's only 3. So making those retail exclusive would be...
Oh, gosh.
I think it would just be more of a cluster on Nintendo's part if they attempted to do it.
It would be a huge mess, and I think it would be more of a hassle for Nintendo if they decided to do that, like you said. So I can't imagine it happening, but with the way things are going and so how unpredictable everything is, I have to say anything is possible at this point.
So what do you think is going on with cancellations? I got about 5 tweets today saying that Jigglypuff got canceled from Target. From specific people, and mostly the reason given was payment information. Yeah. So there was something going on with the payment. And most of those people said they used PayPal. So they have no idea why that happened.
Yeah, because most of the problems I usually hear are due to credit card problems and address changes and all that whole mess. So that's interesting that it was PayPal related. Yeah. Did all of them seem connected in some way?
The only thing that made me see any connection was PayPal.
Was PayPal? That was it. Okay.
And then if you follow Amiibo News at all, you'll know what happened to me, where I went and waited in line for Greninja. Initially, they said they only had 10, and I was number 15 in line. But I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna wait anyway, just in case. We got in. Turns out they said they had 20, so I ended up getting one. And then the next day, I got an email canceling it. So the other 10 people, or the other 5 people behind me and 5 people in front of me got theirs canceled too. Or 4 people in front of me. But then I just got an email saying that they reinstated it after I kind of... I kind of put out not necessarily a nasty tweet.
Uh-oh.
But it was more like, what a great way to wake up. Thanks Toys R Us for canceling my pre-order.
Yep. That's heartbreaking.
But it's the retail exclusives are getting canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, people are waiting in line for in my case, I was there for about 2.5 hours. But people are waiting in line for insane amount of periods to get these things, and
I think I heard that people are waiting in line the night beforehand. Yeah. I mean, it's way not even just 2 hours in advance.
Yeah, it was overnight for a lot of people.
Yeah, the last time I heard about that happening was when the Majora's Mask edition came out, and for the 3DS XL, and people were out there all night. That was to know that this is happening so consistently with releases. It's a little disheartening,
Yeah.
I feel the pain that other people are going through right now.
I'm hoping the retail exclusive thing stops.
Yeah.
Because the argument behind retail exclusive is instead of having 2 figures for every Target store in a region, you're going to see one store instead of a multiple of stores. You're going to see one store have a huge amount of stock. So GameStop has NES, so you would expect every GameStop to be stocked to the ceilings with NES. Which obviously isn't the case. They sold out in 3 hours, and unless you went and waited in line, which I know I did, and you did too, right?
I had my mom stand in line.
That works.
That worked, and she was just as excited as I would have been. So,
but it's crazy that it was on a school day.
Yeah.
On a work day, more importantly.
A lot of people left work for that.
Yeah. I don't know anybody who would have done that.
Oh yeah.
However, I mean, it was on a school and a work day. And they were gone pretty much before, work lets out. I think they were gone around 5 o'clock.
Even earlier than that, from what I remember, within a half hour. It was 3 or 4 o'clock, from what I remember.
I've made this argument before on the show. Mm-hmm. What's the point of a retail exclusive if it sells out that quick? You'd think the part of a retail exclusive that would make it alluring to a company would be that you can walk into that store and you would see 10 NESs and you're like, oh, this is great. I can walk into GameStop and pick one up. It's just not the case. I'm seeing way too many upset people about this whole exclusive thing at this point, where I'm getting to a point where I think it has to stop. It's not going to.
No, it's not going to. And, you know, a part of me wonders, and I know this pops up in memes left and right online these days, is there's almost this cynical factor.
Yeah.
Like...
Salty.
Very salty.
Yeah.
But I wonder, you know, are the Nintendo reps, like, sitting back in their chairs, laughing their heads off? You know, I wonder, but I mean, I don't think that's the reason why. I think that Nintendo is very practical and that there is definitely a reason. Yeah. We're just not aware of it at this point. I remain hopeful that we'll find out one day, or that just things will change, you know, just because.
I have a prediction that at E3, Nintendo's going to announce something to put people's minds at ease. I think they owe it to fans at this point to come out and say, we have a problem. Yes. We understand it, and we're going to fix it.
One thing I think that would remedy, maybe not for Amiibo fans, but for Nintendo fans in general, would it be if the new Nintendo 3DS, not the XL, came to the United States. Because I know that there is a portion, there's actually a pretty large group of people out there who is really demanding that it come here. So, I mean, even that, like, kind of positive news might put a positive spin on all the other mistakes that have been made.
Is that your E3 prediction at this point, then? Do you think that's coming?
You know, the reason I say that is because I saw somebody else mention that online today, and I thought, you know what? That might actually turn things around. That could affect, you know, the general reaction and, I don't know, just overall feelings towards Nintendo right now. So I think it could be a prediction, although Nintendo has made it pretty clear that they made that decision for a reason, so not to bring it here. We'll have to see.
I think we're going to get something big at E3.
I hope so.
Surrounding Amiibo. And my hope would be that Nintendo of America follows suit with like Nintendo UK, where they have an online store. They announce it way ahead of time when they're going to start putting these things up for pre-order. I mean, the last time they went up, they were up for about 15 minutes, but they announced it way ahead of time when they were coming out. Yeah. So it makes sense that they're selling out fast because everybody's on the site at that moment. That's my hope. I don't want to keep my hopes up, but hopefully America's going to get some relief from the madness at this point, because there's way too many people out there just hitting the F5 key on Amazon right now, waiting for Wave 4 to come out.
I know.
Myself included, by the way.
I know. Yeah, you're in it with everybody else.
Little crazy. But that brings us into the other piece, though, where in Japan they just started releasing these reprinted Amiibos.
Yes. Oh, I was really excited about this. I was really, especially because it had to do with the Villager.
So I'm happy the Villager got a reprint.
Me too. It deserves it because it really never had a chance to begin with. I mean, nobody anticipated, from what I remember, that how many were rare from that first wave?
So we had
Wii
Fit, Marth, Villager were the three ones.
Were the main three. Okay.
The unicorns, the Holy Trinity, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. And nobody anticipated, I think, that they would be gone and then that would be it for as long as it's been. Yeah. So to see them come back now, I don't know, in a way that kind of gives me a little bit of hope.
Yeah. What's your thoughts though? They redesigned Villager. They didn't redesign the other reprints, by the way. The other ones looked fine. Little Mac, people had pictures of the new Little Mac box and the new Little Mac figure. There's nothing crazy about pretty much the look. It looks identical, but Villager looks different.
Yes, and I kept going back and forth, switching back and forth between the pictures, and then I put them side by side. Yeah. And looking at them, and a lot of people picked out these differences right away, too. So I was really impressed with how, what a good eye so many of these Amiibo fans have. But the original has the elongated eyes. Yep. They're thinner, and they're longer, and they reach up towards the hairline a lot more. And then the reprint has smaller, rounder eyes, which I believe is truer to the Villager in Animal Crossing anyway. But what a lot of people didn't like is that the eyes are pushed down.
Oh yeah, they're way down on the head.
Yeah.
Which I didn't notice anything weird about that until I got like a huge amount of people saying, "Did you see this?" I'm gonna prop him up here so he can kind of hang out on the cast for the time being. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey. Oh, he looks so happy. I mean, like, regardless, they both look happy, and yes, they do look murderous.
It's gonna kill you.
Yeah. Oh, I do like the custom ones where they have the axe in the hand.
I need to make one of those.
You really
I haven't done a custom in a long time.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one to put on the list. But yeah, huge difference between the reprint and the original. Yeah. And you know, at first I thought I liked the reprint more. Mm-hmm. But then the more I was looking at them, I thought there are pros and cons with each one, and I could appreciate both. And eventually, I think I'd like to have both in my collection.
I would love to have both.
Them. Yeah, I think you'll get both.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
But here, the U.S. never announced a reprint for Villager.
No, that's why
in North America.
That's why people are rushing to Amazon Japan and I think it's Yes Asia.
Yep.
And they're really hoping to get them. And a lot of people, quite a few people did have some success with that.
So your thoughts at this point about, even if it's a slight redesign?
Yes.
So let's get away from the aesthetics of it.
Okay.
Let's go into more of diehard Amiibo collectors needing to have variants, needing to have things that look different. The boxes, for all intents and purposes, at this point look the same. But obviously, we have the picture up on the screen right now if you're watching on the newscast, but you can see the difference between these two, and it's rather apparent. Do you think, number one, that was just that they noticed after they shipped this thing that it didn't look the way they wanted it to? Or do you think that it's kind of a subtle way to get people to buy more?
I think it's a great subtle way. It's a great business tactic to put that very, very minute difference in there and try to hook those really hardcore fans. I think it was purposefully done because you don't go into something of huge manufacturing production and not really take note of a difference like that. But for collectors, I also think it's a great way to get more for your collection. And to me, it's a very noticeable difference when I see them side by side like that.
So you're okay with it?
I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly fine. I like that there is a difference between the original and the reprint. Yeah. And that goes for any type of collectible. I want to know that, hey, if I have the original, it's noticeable. Yeah. And that to me is really important as a collector. So. And
we talked about this before a couple weeks back, wondering if they were going to make a modification to the box. Like a stamp or a Series 2 or a reprint stamp. And obviously they didn't. So this is kind of a way to do it, I suppose. But they didn't do it with the other ones too. So they didn't do it with Little Mac. I think there was one other one that I think Marth got re-released over there just recently too. Yeah. And they look pretty similar too. They
did. But it's interesting. Yeah, it is interesting that they only chose one of the three like that. For that reason, it would make more sense to do the differences with all of them. Yeah. So I'm not really sure why.
That's why I think it's isolated. One. I think they were unhappy with their initial design. Okay. And they just said, when you look at this, it doesn't really have like the Villager. I feel when I see that one, like the one on the right now, it just looks much more apparent that he's the Villager from the game that I'm used to playing in New Leaf. So I don't know. I think that there's going to be super mixed results with all of this in the future.
I think so. Well, it makes me wonder too, with future reprints, what are the differences going to be? Yeah. And how are they going to be receptive by people? I don't know. Be interesting.
I know the diehard collector in me is already like freaking out that I don't have him. Because it's just... It's just his eyes, and that's really the only major difference. And it's, I don't know why, but it's killing me inside that I don't own him.
You know what I like to think about, though, is that you know how there were flaws in the, a lot, especially Wave 1? Yeah. They were going up on eBay for all sorts of money. Well, thinking about that, there are going to be differences according to each Amiibo. Yeah. So what if we see a combination of these two out there that kind of pleases more people, but that one could be rarer, and that's just that has to do with manufacturing. I don't believe that's going to be intentional at all.
I would be happy with that because I think the diehard collectors, I think if they release massive amounts of rare Amiibo into the marketplace, to a certain extent they're going to be upset because they're like, well, I waited in line for this, or I got lucky and got this, or I paid a fortune for it on eBay. Why should they just be able to release all these new ones? So I think just having the minute differences like on this one might just kind of it still adds the collectible value to the original.
I agree. I'm all for it.
All we need now is a U.S. release date for these things.
Yes.
And then I think we would be in much better shape.
It would be really disappointing to know that the reprint might not hit the U.S. though. Yeah. But I think that there's still a very big possibility that we'll see that.
I would think if they were manufacturing more for Japan, that at the same time, because they all come from the same factory regardless of region, you would think that they had the order placed for other places as well. I don't think Nintendo intentionally is trying to make their fans upset by releasing like new figures in other markets. Yeah. But we were supposed to get a Marth reprint at the end of April. That was the initial announcement that came out. And then the last Nintendo Direct, they said it was going to be they pushed it into May. Okay. But we have no news whatsoever about Marth's reprint in the US. No pre-orders. no even general kind of window for when it's coming. That scares me.
It's scary, but they seem to be spacing everything out kind of nicely, though, because if you think about it, if all this stuff came at once, imagine the enormous panic, even more so than what we've already seen. Yeah. So, I mean, in a way, I think that it might be a little bit better that it is spaced out a little bit more, for our sanity's sake.
What if all of these reprinted Amiibos are on some sort of port pallet somewhere? Oh my gosh. So
they're just waiting to be found and shipped out.
So that's I think a great segue, even though it wasn't the best segue.
It was good.
Into the second round of port strikes that just they kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting this to happen again, but more or less there was a port strike. I think it ended about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. Nintendo of America came out and said that it was actually affecting their shipments of the new 3DS into the US, and somewhat, they didn't really say to what extent, but it was somewhat affecting Amiibo distribution in the US as well. So that ended. Everybody thought that, once it ended, there would just be rare Amiibos on every shelf, and everybody would be thrilled and happy, but that never happened. But a couple days ago, about a week ago, this started. There was a second round of port strikes, and this time it was the truck drivers, the people that actually took the what do you call those things? Those gigantic
crates?
Not crates. Yeah, shipping crates. You're right. Yeah, those big shipping crates, and transporting them to distribution centers and warehouses. So that was a big to-do about a week ago. Mm-hmm. The good news is, as of this morning, that strike ended.
That was really fast.
Yeah.
Very fast. It
4
resolved
days.
So much more quickly than the original strike, which was, I think, was a relief because people tend to panic a little bit more. Yeah. But yeah, over and done with. So I think business should be going on as usual, as predicted.
So the port strike thing in general, do you think that Nintendo was using that as a scapegoat? Mm-hmm. So you think completely let's shift the blame onto somebody else?
I think that the original strikes that happened in February, when they came out and said this is the reason why that we're seeing a scarcity of Amiibos and systems in stores right now, I think that it's very possible it was a small reason why, a portion of the reason why, but I think that there were definitely a lot of other factors that came into play. And, I was fine with that because you don't want people to panic and you want to be able to place a blame on something that people will understand. Yeah. And that was a very reasonable thing to say. Mm-hmm. But in the long run, I really don't think that it held as much weight as Nintendo was letting us to believe.
So a lot of the big Nintendo fan sites and some of the bigger Twitter, like Amiibo sites, were reporting on this yesterday and the day before, saying how this was this massive deal that was going to affect like Amiibo distribution throughout the U.S. again. And we came out with a story that day saying, don't panic. It's not really affecting anything at this point. But I think people are trying to latch onto things about why Amiibo distribution is just failing and why it's so bad in the U.S. at this point. So again, I think that Nintendo used it slightly as a scapegoat to just say, guys, let's shift the blame onto somebody else if we can for a bit. Mm-hmm. But I think the community took that statement Nintendo put out about 2 months ago, and I think they just took it into a direction they shouldn't have.
I think so too. And what happened was people find it easy to latch on, like you said, to reasons like that. Yeah. And it was the only reason they were given, so it's just easier for people to continue believing that and then kind of create this panic for the next round of strikes.
Well, the port strike's over, though, so that's good. So even though more than likely it wasn't going to affect you getting your Wave 4 or Wave 5
I really didn't think that was even a possibility. Yeah.
At least it's over, so we have something else to talk about at this point. So good job, port workers.
Good job.
You got it figured out. So I asked you a couple days ago, I think this was 2 or 3 days ago, to download this new game called Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Bits. Yes. What is your thought on that? So to kind of give our listeners an idea first before we go into that, Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Bits is a series of classic NES and Super Nintendo games where you can tap your Amiibo on the gamepad and it unlocks more or less a 3-minute demo of the game. You can run through different scenes, so it's not like you're locked at the very beginning of the game. You can like for instance, Super Metroid's unlockable. And you can kind of jump back and forth between all, like, the big boss battles in the game, which is kind of neat.
It was really neat. It was kind of cool. That was my favorite part. Just being able to stop and go just whenever you wanted. That was awesome.
So what do you think the point is of this? Do you think it's a mechanism to get people into buying more games on the Virtual Console? Do you like this idea, or do you think maybe they should have fleshed it out more?
I think this is as fleshed out as they wanted it to be, to be honest. I think they're killing two birds with one stone, and that's what they're doing with Amiibo.
Yeah.
So they're getting people they're giving people another reason to buy Amiibo, and at the same time they're introducing the classics to a whole new generation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of people, because most people around our ages, they know the classics.
Yeah.
But there are all these new generations of kids now who aren't familiar with them, and now they have Amiibos, and they're into Amiibos because they're not only tools that you can use with your game systems, but they're also fun toys. So why not introduce them to the old classics too? Kind of pull them in that way.
So I agree with you.
Yeah.
What I think they should have done better is this. If I were to tap in Toon Link, it's totally randomized. So it picks a random NES or Super Nintendo game. It would make more sense if I tapped this on the gamepad and it unlocked A Link to the Past. And I think that would be the way to get kids like into it more, where they could tap their Link figure on. They know they're going to get to play a game with Link on it. I think that was a huge missed opportunity.
I think so too. I think that there's a lack of control with the game, and definitely one of the game's biggest flaws. I mean, considering it's free, I guess we can't ask for too much. But at the same time, it would be nice to know that we have more options as far as directing what we want to play and when we want to play it.
It's just strange too. When I first started playing it, I was not necessarily against it, but I was a little bit more critical.
Yeah.
The more I played it, though, the more I found myself having just more fun with it. And I was thinking kind of what you were saying at the beginning of this. I have a 2-year-old daughter, which I've mentioned before, and I think it's parents with kids that have never had an opportunity to play games like this. I think it's kind of neat to kind of mix a combination of brand new stuff with the old school classics. I would be, if I saw my kid, if I came home from work and I saw Eva like tapping an Amiibo on the pad and playing, Mario Bros. I'd be so proud, man. I more proud than I should be. Because, I don't know, Nintendo stuff just gets to me.
Oh, yeah, sentimental. I mean, it's completely sentimental. And that's what's so great about it. But, I mean, it's a great way of... I always go back to this, the connecting the generations together.
Yeah.
You have these bright, colorful little toys. And it's exciting, not... At the same time, even though I want control over what I'm going to play, it's kind of exciting, too, not knowing what's going to pop up on the screen. Is it going to be something new, or is it going to be a level that I previously played?
Yeah. So, do you want more? Do you want more of these? I mean, would you like to see, like, a version 2 of this, maybe with... I think it would be neat for N64, for, at some point, hopefully, GameCube.
Yeah.
I mean, there's downloadable GameCube games on there now, but it would be neat for N64, because Nintendo is really pushing for N64 on Virtual Console right now. But there's so much room for that. There's a game for... Besides, like, characters like Rosalina, who didn't show up until GameCube era, there's so much room to, like, unlock games with all of the Amiibos that are available for N64 titles. So, Nintendo, that's a good idea. I think you should go that route. I think the ROM would be a little bigger.
I think so.
The download, would be a lot bigger.
That download was one of the quickest downloads I've ever had for any game. It happened within, like, 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's like 65 megs. It was not a big download.
I can definitely see it expanding the file size.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I obviously wouldn't mind, because I think that as they go through the history, we're going to see a lot more maybe dynamic options, and I think that they'll improve on everything that we just said we didn't like. Maybe they'll rethink that, and they'll actually improve on that.
So I don't want people, if you listened to my review last time on this, I don't want you to think that I was ungrateful for this game. I did like it. I did like it to a certain extent. I think that it's more based for people that didn't have these games growing up, or don't have access to those games. For me, I have all of those games on like a million different virtual platforms at this point. So it doesn't have the same effect on me. I mean, if you look behind me, if you're watching this on videocast, I have like an entire Nintendo wall. So again, I think for parents with kids, or people that just want to pick up these classics, I think that's the best way to go about it.
Agreed.
One other interesting thing that I wanted to talk about, at least before we go into anything with Speed Round.
Yes.
Are you a Fire Emblem fan by chance?
I did start to play the last game on my 3DS. But I did not get as far into it, only because I got distracted with some other games. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dedicate some time to this farther down the road sometime, and then
Yeah.
I can really concentrate on it. But I know it's a beloved game with the fans.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to doing that. But I know you like it. Right?
Yeah, it's a great series. And obviously, most people, if you haven't played the series, you're familiar with the Fire Emblem characters from the Amiibos that you can't find in stores. So, that being said, there was an announcement on the official Japanese Fire Emblem IF site, which is the new 3DS game that's coming out.
Yeah.
It wasn't really an announcement, but it was more a picture of the box art, and it has an Amiibo logo at the top right-hand corner.
And people love speculating. They
do.
find the smallest little details, and they really like to figure out where this is going to take the game from here. Yeah.
Here's what scares me, and I'm gonna. If you're watching the video cast, you'll be able to see this. But otherwise, I'm actually grabbing my box for Xenoblade Chronicles. Bam! Right there, 3D. Again, Amiibo logo right there, plastered across the very top of the box. This was the biggest disappointment for an Amiibo support game I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
I'm tapping the box.
Making sure your point gets across.
I love this game. I love this game. It supports one Amiibo.
Oh, that's right.
It supports Shulk.
Yeah.
So, that being said, Shulk number 1, near impossible to find.
Yeah.
Shulk number 2 doesn't unlock almost anything in this game. So, what it does in this game is it unlocks coins that you can essentially get from play coins. That lets you unlock arts and music from the game. Which is neat in its own respect, but that's it. There's nothing else. 90% of the people that I know that own this game do not have a Shulk Amiibo.
That's really, really unfortunate, because with the way that Xenoblade Chronicles came out and with all the hype with Amiibo, Nintendo could have really taken advantage of this opportunity, and they could have given us something pretty spectacular with the game, and then not just one Amiibo, but at least 3 Amiibos, because they really hyped Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, they really did. I was even shocked that they didn't have a special edition 3DS.
Oh, I thought for sure that was going to happen.
I was positive that we were going to see that.
I actually had a tweet ready for it. I was watching the Nintendo Direct, because I was typing up tweets like on my notepad just in case it was coming out, so I could get it out quick. So I'm like, Xenoblade Chronicles limited edition 3DS coming out on... And I was just waiting for it because I was so expecting it to happen.
Yep.
I was kind of disappointed.
I was very disappointed, because even though I probably wouldn't have gotten that particular system, I have a thing for, I love seeing limited edition systems. And I thought, wow, with the really great, sleek type of setting that the game offers, we would really be able to see that in the device itself.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So, again, the reason I bring this up is the fact that right there on the top of the box, there's an Amiibo logo, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you're going to get amazing Amiibo support. Why I'm afraid of Fire Emblem IF. If they only support Fire Emblem characters, there's going to be a huge number of disappointed fans. Which stinks. It really does. And number 2, I'm hoping that it's not going to be like tap an Amiibo on the screen to get gold.
Yeah.
Because that's just going to be a whole new level of disappointment for a lot of people.
Ideally, what would your dream Amiibo experience be with Fire Emblem?
Bringing characters onto the screen that you normally wouldn't get, or let's say you had to unlock them in a certain way. If you had the Amiibo, it was a way that you could get it quicker. Something similar to that. But I want it to be... It would also be cool if you could share stats on it. So if there's any kind of multiplayer functionality with this, which there's rumored to be at least at some point, where you could take it over to your friend's 3DS and you could bring over the stats to that character. The fact that we're seeing so many games only have read support, no write support, is sad. I mean, there's so much room for very, very cool things for all these Amiibos to do. Smash Brothers does it right, where you get to save things, you get to take it to your friend's house, you can bring it home, level it up, the whole thing. That would be what I'm hoping for Fire Emblem IF. I want to see something related to full-fledged character support or leveling a character up.
Well, hopefully, as time goes on, Nintendo starts to take advantage of the amazing possibilities.
Yeah.
Like I expressed before, I'm just shocked that with how excited the company was before anything was ever launched for the Amiibo lines, that they didn't take full advantage of that from the get-go.
So I should hold off judgment at this point until they actually announce what Amiibo support is going to be for this game. I'm just scared. I really am, because I think a lot of it's an afterthought. We have games like Codename Steam. This has Amiibo support. So Codename Steam, they do it at least in kind of a neat way where it unlocks a character. Yeah. Again, they picked the super hard to find amiibos because only the Fire Emblem amiibos work with this. But again, it's just they need to make these games that are supporting amiibo. They need to make the amiibos #1 more easily available to find, and I think they need to flesh it out more. So Codename Steam does it right. They unlock like full-fledged content for the game. Xenoblade Chronicles does it very, very wrong. So Fire Emblem IF, please, for the love of God, do this right, Nintendo. Hear our cries. Do something neat. Do something unique, and don't limit it to the Fire Emblem characters, or else you're gonna make so many people just livid with you. Or release more of those figures.
Yes. Yeah. I think that it's very possible that once Fire Emblem does come closer to release, who knows? We'll see reprints. We'll see a lot more figures released.
Totally agree.
Yep.
Well, that's it for the big chunk of Amiibo news that we had, at least for this week. But we still have a lot of questions that we had from the community. And there's a lot of questions that I kind of peeked a little bit at these questions.
It's okay because I kind of peeked too, right when you put that tweet out to everybody. And it was kind of hard not to. I love seeing what people are wondering about.
Yeah, for sure. So. There was a lot of good questions this week.
There were. I was impressed. I was really impressed. So thank you for sending in those questions.
So we're going to go down the list and we're going to talk about the Amiibo questions that you had for us this week. So our first one is Silver Mario. Do you think he's going to be rare? And that's the first one I wanted to talk about because we're going to cheat on this speed round question. I want to go into a little bit more detail about Silver Mario being rare. So this question came from Thundervolt888. So thank you for that question, by the way. So Silver Mario has been popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
Like this last couple weeks. Silver Mario ended up in like 4 different SKU systems. Best Buy, it showed up. It showed up at GameStop. Fry's. And Fred Meyer's.
That's it.
Fred Meyer.
Yeah.
Is it Meyer or Myers?
I think it is Meyer, but I call it Myers.
Okay, Fred Meyer.
Yeah.
Or Z, I don't know, one of the two. So I don't think Silver Mario is going to have the crazy wow factor that Gold Mario had. The fact that it's going to be available in every single major retailer in the US. At least that's what it looks like. Nintendo is surprising me because the release date for this was May 29th in all of these systems. And that's, 27 days away?
Yes.
And there's no information from Nintendo on this other front, other than the CSPIA?
Yeah.
That document that came out that got leaked a couple months ago where you saw a picture of the box art for Silver Mario. That's the only semi-official news Nintendo ever released on this thing. So is it going to be rare? I doubt it. In my humble opinion.
No, I completely agree with that. I don't think it's going to be as rare and aesthetically. I know this is going to sound bad, but I always see as gold being the highly sought after one. I mean, you see the gold, and then I see the silver as not as desirable. I mean, sure, as far as collectibles go, it's everybody's going to want it in their collection. But I don't know.
I want it more.
You want the silver?
I want the silver one. I think it looks better.
Okay. With me,
it's aesthetics.
I see. It is aesthetics. For me, it's like, wow. #1 trophy. I want this because I win. I win something.
That's true.
You know?
That's true. I totally see that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get them no matter what at this point. If they were purple or yellow or platinum, I'm still going to buy them. I don't think they're gonna be rare. Do you want one? I mean, in general, I know you said that you'd prefer the gold.
I do prefer the gold. I want them all. I have not. I have not dived into the Amiibo craze as much as other people have, although I would have liked to, just for financial reasons. I'm cool in it right now, but eventually I would like to own them all. So yeah, I eventually want to get the Silver Mario.
There you go.
Yeah, easy as that.
So thank you for that question on Silver Mario. Expect him in your stores on May 29th, even if he hasn't been officially announced yet. It would be kind of funny if they just never announced it. It just showed up in stores. I wouldn't be surprised knowing Nintendo's track record.
No, with the way things are going right now, I think that's completely possible.
Yeah. Question number 2. What are your thoughts on Yooka-Laylee and possible amiibos involved in this game? This is so exciting.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what Yooka-Laylee is, the original team that created Banjo-Kazooie, they were Rareware, but they broke up, obviously, and started this indie development company. They came out with this Kickstarter campaign for this game called Yooka-Laylee. It's a buddy platformer game where you have it's a bat that's on your back, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a chameleon.
Yes, it looks like it.
It's a lizard or a chameleon. So it's very, very much like Banjo-Kazooie, even in the name.
I love the name, by the way.
Oh, yeah, Yooka-Laylee.
It's completely catchy, and just everything about it, I'm like, that's very Nintendo.
Yeah.
Everything about it seemed perfect.
So there was an interview with the staff right after the Kickstarter came out, and we tweeted out about this yesterday. A lot of people were super excited about this news. I couldn't believe the amount of retweets that that story got.
So many. I was extremely surprised about the hype. I mean, I knew that it was something to be anticipated, but I had no idea the reaction that we would see at all.
So yeah, I mean, do I think there's going to be Amiibo support for this game? No. I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, no, not that.
They said that they pitched it like to fans if they would want to see it, and there's been an outcry of support for it. They have to work with Nintendo, and the fact that this game's going to also be on PS4, PC, and Xbox One, I'm not sure if Nintendo is going to bite unless it was exclusive.
I definitely agree with that. I can only see Nintendo doing that. They're very proud of the games that they have, and you can tell that with the spread of Amiibos that we have right now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so definitely considering that it's going to be spread out to other consoles and everything. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
Yeah.
There's also rumors not rumors, but a lot of people are voting for Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo to show up in the next Smash Brothers.
Oh gosh, yes.
So maybe we'll even get a Banjo-Kazooie
that would be interesting.
Amiibo.
I mean, I think that was the one where the owner of the rights, or he came out and he said that he wouldn't mind seeing Banjo in Super Smash. And I'm like, that's pretty amazing to hear that.
So Rareware is owned by Microsoft at this point, which kills me inside. I have no idea how Nintendo allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite games growing up were Rareware games: GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie. God, there was so many. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Donkey Kong Country, for God's sakes. So many absolutely outstanding games. But yeah, I think it wasn't, I wish I could remember who it was. I wanted to say Peter Moore, but I don't think it was Peter Moore that said it. But yeah, one of the Microsoft executives said, that they wouldn't mind seeing that. In fact, that they would like to see it. So hopefully Nintendo could work out something with Microsoft. But I would be completely for that. Otherwise, I'd like to see Conker show up. I think he's a little bit too vulgar for the Smash Bros. People.
True. Because it's very family. I know it sounds funny because it's like it's a fighting game.
Yeah.
But it's kind of more family oriented at the same time. Yeah. Even though I know some people have problems with the fighting aspect of it, but.
So I want to point out too, our speed round has turned into like a full-fledged question answer mode.
We're on the second question?
Yeah, second question. So I think that the speed round today might just be a little bit more free flowing.
Interesting how I was given a hard time first time for going over by a couple seconds.
Yep. That's how it works. Yep. It's how it works.
How fair. I see how this game is played.
I want to answer. This one again is going to be another one that we're going to go into more detail on. This is near and dear to my heart. Oh, by the way, that last question was from Lucas Pistone, so thank you for that question, by the way. This is from Jub. I like Jub. What's up, Jub? If I want to contribute to Customs for a Cure, what's the process for that? I want to talk about Customs for a Cure real quick, because we're actually revamping something on that coming up soon. If you're new to the channel and you haven't been following us for a huge amount of time, Customs for a Cure was something we did when we first started this crazy Amiibo news venture. We had a bunch of custom Amiibos that we did. We partnered with Evilos, who does outstanding custom Amiibos. In fact, I have one somewhere in this office. Oh yeah, it's right here. So something like that. We raffled these, we sold these on eBay, and 100% of the proceeds went to St. Jude. We are working on another charity event that's coming up this summer. We're not totally ready to completely unveil what that's going to be. Secret. But it's going to be really cool, in my humble opinion. Yeah. I'm excited for it.
I'm actually more excited about this than the previous ones that you've done.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's something, it's a little bit bigger, and it's all-encompassing for what you and Nintendo stands for.
It's going to be bigger. Yeah. It's going to be much bigger than what we did last time. Yeah. And in my opinion, it's going to be more fun for more people to take part of. You don't have to pay anything to take part of it. I think I'm hinting at it too much, so we're going to leave it there. So thank you, Jub, for the question. The average Joe, do you think the new Villager is viewed as less valuable than the original by a serious collector? So we talked about this earlier in the cast today. I think that we're going to see values vary on this. It's already starting to happen on eBay, so it's already happening. Yeah. We have, who is this? Monado. If you could have one Amiibo or any character that you wanted, what would it be? I'd like to make that question as not like Amiibos that are available, but it could be anything.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. That's what I interpret it as.
Huh. honestly, I would like probably a Skyward Sword Loftwing. I don't know why. So a lot of people are going to say that the Loftwings in Skyward Sword were kind of lame. I was a huge fan of them. I hope they bring them back in the next Zelda game. I think that would be outstanding if they did. I think that it wasn't quite on the level of Eponia, but I love the Loftwings, so that's my choice.
Good choice. Good choice. I think mine is more like almost too offbeat because I don't think that this character has a fan following. I'm probably the only fan who's following this
I
character.
can't wait to hear what this is going to be.
I know. Well, I've expressed my love and my obsession with Earthbound before.
Yeah.
And I love Ness, but surprisingly, he's actually not my favorite character in the game.
Oh, is it Porky?
No.
No, who is it?
No. It's actually Jeff. I take photos of this pixelated, I can't remember what they're called, the art forms, and I bought it on Etsy, and I love it. I take Jeff, and I take pictures of him everywhere, and there's something about Jeff. I replayed it again as an adult. Because I played it a couple times when I was younger, and I liked Paula back then because I was all about being girly and everything. Sure. But now I had another chance to kind of take a look at the background of the characters. Okay. And there's something about Jeff's backstory that I find completely interesting. The fact that he's in this... not orphanage, but this school in the middle of winters. And the whole setting is completely haunting. Yeah. And I actually wish that the story would have expanded more on Jeff for some reason. I know it's very small, and I don't know what he could add unless he was like really a minute character in like Super Smash. But for some reason, I have this just dream that we'll see some type of recognition for Jeff someday, but probably won't happen. Not as big as the others, Pikachu, Peach. Yeah.
He's an assist trophy, though, in Smash, isn't he?
He is. Yeah,
he bottle rockets people, doesn't he?
I think so. Yes, because that's his thing. He is this genius who comes up with these really amazing contraptions, and that's how he helps out the team. And there's something about that I just thought was so cool.
Yeah. I think that's neat, though, at least that they thought of him as an assist trophy. Yeah. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah. Some type of appreciation. So thank you, Nintendo, for at least doing that. We probably won't see an amiibo of Jeff, but I love him.
Any Earthbound support for me would be outstanding for new amiibos. Lucas is going to be great, even though I've never got to play Lucas officially outside of a ROM.
Yeah. But... yeah. I think that's why it's so exciting for us to know that something's going to happen more with him.
Yep. Mother 3 confirmed.
Yep.
All right. Next question. We're going to go through a couple more because we had a couple more ukulele questions. What amiibo do you think is going to be exclusive in Wave 5 and where? So we talked about this last week. We made a joke that Bowser Jr. is going to be Hot Topic. I think we said something along the lines of Zero Suit Samus, Victoria's Secret, Dr. Mario at Walgreens.
Hot Topic.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I wish I knew more. Like, I want to give you more information on what's going to go where. I have a feeling that GameStop is going to get another one. I don't know which one they're going to get. And Toys R Us seems to have a track record of getting them, and so does Target.
It's pretty amazing. I was really surprised that Toys R Us is getting so many of them like that. I expected more of just GameStop and maybe, I don't know, Best Buy and Walmart, but definitely not Toys R Us. It's pretty interesting, and it's kind of sad, though, because there are a lot more retailers with Best Buys and Walmarts and everything. With Toys R Us, I actually only have one within driving distance. Yeah. And that's what hurts. So less chance of actually obtaining those rare
ones. For sure. Yeah. Toys R Us does a lot of interesting things with retail exclusives for other games. So I know Skylanders, they do at Disney Infinity. They have a Crystal series. I would love to see a Crystal series for Amiibo, which is like this super cool, clear model. Yeah. But yeah, I wish I could tell you what's going to go where, but my opinion is it's going to happen. I just don't know what's going to go where. Yeah. If there was another Pokemon coming out this wave, I would say it's going to Toys R Us because they got 2 Pokemon already.
Definitely. Yeah, they seem to have something to do with Pokemon. That's interesting.
So, yep, that's my thought there. Yep. Do you think employees should be able to pre-order from their own store? Yes, as long as the customers get them first. That's always been a rule, any retail I've ever worked. When I used to work at Best Buy. And they had a rule for rare stuff or like game systems that if there was anything left over after everybody was out of line, then yes, we could buy something. Okay. I think the same thing for retailers. I don't think that they should say you can't buy them at all.
For the most part, I agree with you. There was one story I remember reading on Reddit a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. I think it was for the NES release at GameStop. And one employee really wanted Nasser, one of the rare ones, only offered at GameStop. So he came in and he waited outside of his own store before it opened. And he was lucky enough to have a very kind manager who asked the entire line who had waited out there. He said, listen, this guy has been waiting since opening. Do I have your permission to have him actually pre-order it first? And everybody was very kind about that.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, I thought that's a fair way of doing it. I think that is definitely an exception.
So I waited for when the PS3 came out. I know I'm talking about a Sony console. I'm sorry, number one. I worked at Best Buy, and I took a week off of work for it, and I waited outside for 3 days.
Whoa.
I was number 4 in line. I was freezing. It was disgustingly cold.
Yeah.
I got sick. So, yeah, I think at that point, I mean, if employees wait in line and they get their dues, I think it's fine. I don't see any problem with that whatsoever. I think who wrote this one? So Brittany Marie. So I think what she is saying is, like, do you think like employees are like stashing them away?
Yeah.
So obviously I'm completely against that.
Yeah.
So I don't think that kind of thing is honestly all that widespread, though.
I don't think so.
I think a lot of the Amiibo community, when things sell out so quick, we want to try to shift blame onto something, and we talked about this a bit earlier in this cast already. I don't think we need to go on a witch hunt for employees. If it's happening, it needs to stop, but I don't think it's massively widespread.
Definitely not. And I know that when word gets out that it happens, that usually somebody reports it to management
for
anyway.
Sure.
So,
let's go through 2 more.
Okay, scroll down a little bit because we're only hitting the more recent ones.
Yeah, let me pick a couple random ones here. Yeah. So we answered this one earlier. Somebody's asking about a Pokemon trading card game, if we're going to see that for Amiibo. I've said this before in the last cast. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It has to.
It will happen. Yeah. Do you think Amiibo will have releases in different trophy poses, palettes? Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing things like Gold Mario and Silver Mario, like different palettes. We're going to get to a point, though, where Nintendo's going to run out of figures or characters to make figures for. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3 Mario variants already. That's not counting Silver Mario. So we're going to have 4 coming on May 29th. I'm sure once we see like new Mario sports titles coming out on the Wii U, they're going to release more Marios. I think when everything is said and done, we're going to end up seeing like close to 10 Marios.
Definitely. Or more.
Or more. Yeah.
I can see more for sure.
So Yoshi right now has 1, 2 with the Super Mario Brothers series, and then 3 other ones coming with Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yep.
Which they can do that all they want. I'm buying all of them. I pre-ordered all of them, by the way, from the UK.
I have the pink one pre-ordered. I was like, if I can't get all of them, I at least need the pink one.
See, this is another reason I needed to order that from the UK. It's coming out in the US in fall.
Yes.
And it's coming out here in the UK in June. So I'm like, I can't wait. I needed to pre-order them. So if you're listening from the UK, I'm sorry I took some of your stock. I needed to get those things.
Well, I only took 1, so it's okay.
I took 3. I only took 1 of each, guys. I'm really sorry.
It's okay. Not really.
See, there's going to be so many poses for these things. I think maybe they're talking specifically about the Smash Bros. Line. I don't think that's going to happen. Once the Smash Brothers line is done, I think we're going to start seeing a decline in the Amiibo madness.
I think you're right. I mean, taking a look at all of the Amiibo lineup that we have so far, Nintendo really clings to old school characters.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they really do. And unless the company decides to pump out a bunch of new games with super popular characters, I can't imagine really us seeing anything but kind of like duplicates after a while.
Yeah. All right, let's do one more. You want to pick it?
No, you're so good at picking.
Yeah, I'll just do this. You can tell me when to stop.
Okay, stop.
All right. In your opinions, will Olimar, Bowser Jr., and Wooly Yoshi be rare Amiibos? So, we're getting another rare Amiibo question. It's so hard to say what's going to be rare and what's not going to be rare. I can tell you right now from Wave 5, Ganondorf is not going to be rare. He has lasted the longest at Amazon, at GameStop UK. There was stock of Ganondorf like an hour and a half after they went up when everything was long gone. Yeah. I think Olimar might be more difficult to find only because it's a more obscure game. I don't know a lot of people that are massive Pikmin fans. I love Pikmin.
I love Pikmin too. I get addicted to that.
I want a Pikmin 3DS game so bad.
That would be amazing. I would be on that game all the time.
Pikmin on the go for me would be easier than Pikmin on like Wii U. I would have more time to play it like if I'm commuting somewhere and obviously not driving. I wish I could tell you which ones are going to be rare. I can tell you which ones are going to be common, though. So we're going to see Ganondorf be pretty common, at least. So... But that's going to do it for the quote-unquote speed round, if you want to even call it that speed round. Should I even put, like, the little speed round tag in there?
You know, actually, for this one, did we have the speed... I don't think you said speed round. I think you just said send us your questions.
Yeah, I didn't really say speed round.
Technically, we didn't really break any rules.
If you want to be technical about it.
I'm going to be technical about it, because I don't like breaking rules.
But that's it. That's it for episode 9. I'm excited, because next week is double digits, episode 10.
Woo!
I'm stoked about that, by the way.
I'm very excited. Actually, when you mentioned it being episode 9 earlier, I'm like, well, I'm already excited for episode 10. So
episode 10 is going to be great.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm going to hype it up, and it's just going to be terrible. But Lauren, thank you for coming on. I want you to, again, really quickly say where we can find you, what you do, plug whatever you want to plug.
Yes, I am Happily Candied just about everywhere online. You can find me on Twitter especially. I'm always tweeting away on there. And I have my own website, www.happilycandied.com. And I love tweeting about cute things. It's very obvious. I like the cute stuff. It's true. But lately I've been focusing a lot of my talk on game-related content. So
good.
I go in and out of phases with what I like to focus on. But because of everything we're doing now, I can see me definitely focusing on games for a long time.
There you go.
Yes. So that's me. And I love talking, so feel free. I seriously do. I try to reply to as many replies as I can.
So spam her Twitter feed,
don't
man.
Spam
it.
But I like hearing from people. It's fun connecting with others from all over the world.
I agree.
Yeah. So you have my permission.
So again, thank you for coming on.
Yes.
As always, I'm Amiibo Jason. You can find me most frequently on Twitter at Amiibo News. I have a personal account, which is Amiibo Jason, so at Amiibo Jason. Our website is myamiibonews.com. Our new website, which is going to be up very, very shortly, is nintendoinquirer.com. Really excited to talk to you guys more about that. We're going to actually go into a lot of Nintendo Inquirer stuff next week. So stay tuned for that podcast. But in the meantime, honestly, don't freak out about pre-orders. I'm hoping we're going to get new stuff coming in soon from Amazon. I'm hoping by next week we're going to have this huge segment about how Amazon had just so much stock that they're still available right now after days and days.
I feel like with the rush of news that we've seen the last 2 weeks, that it's very possible we'll see something pop up.
I've been saying this for like 5 weeks by the way that it's coming up.
Well, maybe it's right this time.
So thank you for listening. Honestly, we love to do the podcasts. Send your questions our way, and we're going to do our best to answer them. So honestly, have a good night or a good morning, depending on when you're listening. And seriously, thank you for being a fan.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.